Hello, I'm Taeha, and a lot of you guys have been asking me for an updated studio tour since the last one that I put out several years ago. And a lot has changed since then, from my aesthetic taste to some of the functionality that I'm looking for. So here we are today. This is what my studio space has been like for the past year. As someone who's had to move every year since 2017, fingers crossed that I stay here for longer than a year, I've actually had to downsize a lot just because I got sick of packing and unpacking everything that I had. So yeah, everything's been downsized, starting with the office gear. The old 6-foot uplift Vitsoe standing desk has been replaced with a 5-foot standing desk from Very. Although having a big desk was nice, I also found it to be a curse, as I would oftentimes find myself just pushing things to the side just because I could. Losing a foot in length might not seem like much, but for me, I found it to be just enough of a difference in desk real estate that it forces me to keep things tidy more regularly. Clear desk, clear mind. As for why I switched brands, no reason other than that I wanted to try a different brand. I've been using this desk for the past 3 years now, and it's held up just fine, just like my old desk has. For desk organization, I've been using the Gather system from Ugmonk in the white and maple colorway since its release, and this has been a nice addition to my desk and a huge contributor for keeping my desk tidy. The Gather collection consists of various desk organization modules that you can purchase as a set or individually, but what sets this system apart is that all the modules connect magnetically to each other. All the components are made of powder-coated steel, solid hardwood, and wool felt, all manufactured in the US, if that matters to you, and the build quality and user experience has been phenomenal. The powder coating does have a lot of visible texture, but it's a consistent grain-like finish all across the surfaces, and it has held up extremely well and is fairly easy to maintain. The magnets are strong enough where I feel confident trusting it, and combined with the heft of each component, everything stays in place really nicely while allowing for easy reconfiguration when needed. The only complaint I have really is the price, but if you invest in any other desk organization system from other popular brands such as Grovemade or Bololo, they will all set you back a similar amount. I have tried the Grovemade desk organization system extensively as well before this, and I ultimately settled on the Gather collection as I found the aesthetic to be much more in line with what I'm looking for. And I mean, magnets, come on, how can you not like the tactile experience of magnets? As of last year, I've been slowly transitioning to Team Apple, which I never thought I'd say, but Apple Silicon truly has been amazing for all of my creative projects. I've switched my PC for the M2 Mac Studio, and recently I even sold my laptop for a 11-inch M4 iPad Pro, as I can do all of my photo and video editing now with just this guy. I'm running dual Apple Studio monitors, which I also got a phenomenal deal on used. I ended up paying $1,000 combined for both of these, and they were practically brand new. And these displays have been amazing. I was a little hesitant given the initial reviews for it, but considering the fact that I got an amazing deal, the only thing I really wish these monitors had is 120 Hz refresh rate, but I'm also not really gaming on this, and for the 60 Hz that it comes with, the color accuracy, the contrast, the resolution, they've all been phenomenal for any kind of editing and creative work. As for audio, I am still using the RME Babyface Pro to drive everything, and this little guy has been a beast even after all these years. I did, however, switch out my speakers that I've been using for about the past 2 years. As much as I loved my old Kanto Tux, I wanted something a little more neutral sounding for editing and mixing purposes, so I ended up selling those to a friend and picking these up. These are the Genelec 8030Cs. And as much as I would love to own the ones, I think they're a little bit too overkill for what I do. I'm not really an audio engineer or anything like that, so these have been more than enough for my needs, and I don't really see myself upgrading from this anytime soon. One of the most commonly asked questions I get whenever I live stream on Twitch is, what is your daily driver keyboard? Which, to be fair, is a fair question considering this is a keyboard channel. But the answer to that is I don't really have a daily driver keyboard. I use all of my keyboards in my collection, even the Grail ones. I don't really buy keyboards to just display on a shelf forever to collect dust. I use all of my keyboards. I don't baby any of my keyboards. You know, some of them do have scratches and dents from natural wear and tear. But yeah, I think every 2 weeks or so, I try to switch out a keyboard to a different one in my collection. But at the time of this video, for anyone who is interested, I have been daily driving the Linworks Dolphin 60 keyboard. That was built with Gateron Lion switches, and the keycap set is GMK Classicer. My camera and rigging gear has remained largely the same, but just downsized. I've been using a Canon C70 and R5C for most of my video work for the past 3-ish years now. Although lately I found myself grabbing the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 or even the iPhone because these little guys have gotten so good at filming videos. In fact, this entire studio tour video was filmed using just the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which I'm on, and the iPhone. And I don't know, I could be convinced to challenge myself to only make videos moving forward using these more compact solutions because the convenience has been really nice. And I think finally these smaller compact solutions, I'm finally happy with the quality that I'm getting nowadays, that I'm willing to sacrifice, you know, that extra 1% of extra production for the convenience factor. For photography, I've been using the Ricoh GR3 for the past 2 years. And about a year ago, I downgraded my Leica M11 for the Leica M9P. Now to charge all of these different batteries for all the various gear that I have, this brings us to the next piece of furniture, the Husky workbench station. You've probably seen a lot of YouTubers using these in their setups, and I understand why now. It provides a nice secondary desk that I've personally been using as a gear rigging workstation, as most of the drawers are filled with camera and audio rigging gear. But what really convinced me to finally pick one up is the fact that this comes with an integrated power strip that you can route cables to internally. So on the bottommost drawer here is where I keep all of the charging bricks and cables for the various brands and equipments that I use. And look at this, it just hides it all out of sight. And then any charged batteries, I know, go up here. So all of these batteries are charged and just ready to grab. One of the new hobbies I've picked up this year is 3D printing. And here we have a Bamboo Labs X1C with their AMS, and this has really impressed me. You can definitely expect to start seeing some 3D printing content sprinkled in now and then, but this machine has been so easy to use, and 3D printing really has come a long way. This is the first printer that I've owned, but I have been loosely following the 3D printing community since around when I was in college. So I know enough to appreciate the fact that now we have these relatively affordable machines that basically come pre-built and are almost plug and play. And I know this is Bamboo Labs' top of the line model, but even with their most basic entry-level model, it still performs very similarly to this at a fraction of the price. Okay, on to the final piece of furniture in the office space. The new shelving that I've installed this year, this is the Vitsoe 606 Universal Shelving System. You've probably heard a phrase along the lines of, one of the signs you're getting older is getting excited about furniture and home goods. Yeah, that's literally been me this last year of my 20s. This shelving system is a timeless modular shelving system designed by Dieter Rams in the 1960s, and it is expensive, but this is one of those systems that you buy into for life. So if you amortize the cost of ownership over the course of your lifetime, then I think it becomes an interesting value proposition. 40 years later down the road, I can still be purchasing extra modules, replacement hardware, get customer support for this, and that's something that you really can't say for many products these days. Online pictures and photos don't really do this justice, but in person, the build quality, finish, engineering, and even the purchasing experience has all been phenomenal. Primarily, the shelf has served as storage for my growing record collection, but it has also served as a means to display some decoration to add some personality to my office, which brings us to the sponsor of this video, Osume. I've been saying this for many years. As much as I love the clean, modern, slightly retro, custom mechanical keyboard aesthetics that's been prevalent, you know, for as long as I've been in the hobby and even before, there is still a dire need for products that cater to the more comfy, kind of playful and cozy aesthetic vibe. Osume has been one of the leading vendors bridging this gap, and there's a good chance you've seen some of their keycap sets, but they've slowly been expanding their portfolio to other accessories such as their latest keyboard stand. I've tried tons of keyboard stands in my career, but I can confidently say that this keyboard stand from Osume has ticked the most boxes in terms of what I'm looking for with a keyboard stand. Its minimal design makes it easy to fit into most setups. It has silicone rail guards, so you're not placing your keyboards directly onto metal, and there are both a 2 and 3 tier keyboard variant version. The Osume keyboard stands are made of welded iron, so it's got a good amount of heft that can support up to 4.5 kilograms or 9.9 pounds of keyboards per rail, and the beautiful pine wood accent piece is removable if you'd like. These are available to order now on Osume's website in a white or black version, so go check them out at osume.com, and thank you to Osume for sponsoring this portion of the video. As for other decorations in the room, this Alex drawer from IKEA is the same one from the old setup video, and the contents inside have remained largely the same. This is where I keep all the various keyboard building tools for easy access during streams and for general use. I've unfortunately stopped collecting cards as I can only juggle so many hobbies at once, but I still do like displaying my collection. So I have various old cassette racks that I've stuck my decks of cards into. This small tufted rug is one of my favorite album covers from one of my favorite bands, which you might have seen on the shelf, that I wish I could say I made myself, but no, I did commission someone for this. And this clothing rack is from IKEA that I purchased for an event to display my merch on. And then afterwards, I didn't really have anywhere to put this in the apartment, so I just ended up putting it in the office space and decided to hang up some of the bags and backpacks that I regularly use so I can grab it on the go. And finally, I have a putting mat from Prime Putt. I vowed to not turn into a typical Korean ajashi, but my friends convinced me to start playing around 8 months ago now. And I get it now. I finally understand what makes golf so enjoyable. So I want to know how many of you guys are also into golf. It's a quickly growing sport. Leave a comment down below yelling 4 if you do play golf, because if there's enough of you guys, once I am confident enough to start, posting my atrocious swings online, maybe golf vlogs are on the horizon. All right, so just outside of the office room back there, we have the kitchen area where I have this little coffee bar station setup, which was brought to you by Cliff & Pebble, a Chicago-based premium espresso machine retailer, and they sent us our newest addition to the coffee bar setup, an espresso machine, the Lilith Bianca V3. And Jen and I have been loving this, and honestly, it's been a life changer for both of us. Let me try to sell you guys mathematically with logic on why you should try to invest in an espresso machine ASAP from a retailer like Cliff & Pebble, because if you are someone that regularly enjoys espresso-based drinks, making espresso at home can actually save you a ton of money. Let's say you purchase one of my favorite coffee beans from Maru, a well-respected cafe in Los Angeles. You get 453 grams of beans for $35, which is definitely on the pricier side for coffee beans. A double shot of espresso uses generally around 18 grams of coffee beans, which is common for drinks like lattes. So with this one bag, if you divide 453 grams by 18 grams, you get 25.16 repeating. So let's just say you get 25 lattes worth of drinks for $35. Now, if you instead purchase lattes 25 times at a cafe, and since I'm in Los Angeles, let's say the average price of a latte is $5, although in this economy, I would say it's probably closer to $6, but let's just make it 5 to keep the numbers simple. 25 times $5 gives you $125 worth of lattes. 125 US dollars versus 35 US dollars. Now, even if you incorporate the cost of water, milk, syrup flavorings, and maybe the slight increase in utility bill that you might see, even then, it does not come anywhere near 125 US dollars. And if you're someone like me that likes to enjoy a latte or two every day, basically you're spending $125 every month versus, I don't know, let's say $70 everything inclusive at home, which means you're saving $50 a month. And keep in mind, this is a pretty conservative number because we've simplified a lot of the numbers just to make the math simpler. You see what I'm getting at? So over time, you will eventually have paid for the cost of the machine just by making your espresso at home. And while I do have a pretty capable machine that was sent out by Cliff & Pebble, you don't really need the latest and greatest espresso machine at home to pull amazing shots. So check out Cliff & Pebble for all your espresso machine needs, as they've got a great selection of coffee enthusiast products and accessories. Subsequently, after receiving the espresso machine, I did end up purchasing a Akaya scale to go along with the white aesthetic. And everything has been working flawlessly so far, and their customer service has been great. So thank you to Cliff & Pebble. For pour overs, I've been using the Hario Switch and the Stag EKG electric kettle, and these have been going strong for about 4 years now. Grinding beans for both pour overs and espresso is the Niche Zero. And these espresso accessories are from Normcore from Amazon. Eventually, I'd like to decorate the bar a little more, for example, with a menu that's nicely printed that my friends can, kind of pick and choose what drinks they want whenever I host friends over for a gathering. But I am still in the process of learning new drinks, so I didn't want to keep constantly updating a menu. So that hasn't happened yet. And lastly, just outside of the kitchen area, we have the turntable setup. I get asked about this storage rack quite a bit on stream whenever I do show it off. So this is from Line Phono, and hopefully, as you can tell, I've kind of shifted from the darker woods and tones to embracing the sun more and kind of going for the lighter woods and colors nowadays. Maybe it's just a sign of getting old and bad eyesight. But yeah, on top we have the Rega P6 turntable. I just love how minimal it looks, and paired with the Hana ML cartridge, this has been sounding fantastic. I really don't feel the need to upgrade beyond this, to be honest. The turntable then feeds into a Puffin Phono preamp, which then feeds directly into the speakers in my living room. The majority of my record collection consists of city pop and jazz, but I'm always searching for new sounds. So if you guys are also someone who enjoys discovering new music and are open to new music, consider signing up for my blog. I've started to blog on the website, taehatypes.com, and at the end of every post, I'm going to start sharing, an album that I've been enjoying, or a song or an artist. So if you guys, especially if you aren't familiar with jazz or city pop, this might be a great way to discover a new genre that you're not familiar with. But yeah, please go consider checking out the blog on the Taeha Types website. And that's it for the studio tour. I do work from home now again, so I didn't film the living room or the bedroom because that's a little more private. But if there's any specific product or area within the studio, this small studio, that you wanted to learn a little bit more about, please let me know down in the comments below. There's enough requests, I can definitely consider making a dedicated video for it. But yeah, a lot of the products that I've been using, I'm also fairly new to, both hobby and product-wise. But I'm someone that generally likes to do a ton of research before diving in kind of knee-deep. So I'm more than happy to share any of my findings if we do have similar interests. And yeah, if you do want to help support the channel, please consider purchasing the Taeha Types merch. Many of you guys who have been supporting and purchasing merch, thank you to everyone who said they've been loving the quality and fit. I'm a little proud of that myself too. I think that's the strong point of my merch. And please go subscribe to the newsletter on the website as well. I have started blogging once again, and hopefully I can start to share more of my other interests there as well, or whatever I'm interested in and want to talk about at the time. So yeah, please go check out taehatypes.com. And until next time, see ya, nerds.